Hello class, today I will be teaching you guys how to do the final part of your itachi project. This will be due on Monday, so please follow along. For this part, this is right after we added the particles. If you guys didn't add the particles, go to the previous video and watch that. You guys can find that on my channel, so just click on my name below and you'll see that in my videos. So to start off, we're going to add the crows. So go ahead and drop in your crows. These will be available in our Google Classroom. So please go ahead and download those. I might add them to in the description if I can, but if not, then I found these crows on Google anyway. So anyone else who's watching, just go find those crows on Google. They should be fairly easy to find. So I'm just gonna move these crows around. Make them visible, so don't hide them in the back. Make them visible like this. And don't resize them yet. Unless they're too small, then yeah, go ahead and resize them. But keep them. Try to keep them like this size for the most part. So we're gonna work on this crow. This crow is crow 1. As you can see, this is crow 1. So make sure you are on the crow 1 layer. I'm actually gonna drag this one down to the bottom. So make sure you're on the crow 1 layer. We want to go to our quick select tool. It's up here. If you don't see it, it's probably because there's a bean right in front of it. So right click on that, go to quick selection. You want to make your brush just as big as a bird. Make it stay inside. Don't make it too big like this. You don't want any of the white parts within the circle. So you want your crow to be within that circle. Click once. Just press OK up here. It's just asking if it should rasterize it. Just press OK. Continue to click on your crow. It should have a nice selection around it because of the high contrast between the background and the foreground. The quick selection tool has a very easy job of selecting everything. So go up to select. We want to contract this or make this smaller so it hugs the crow better, and that way we don't get any of those white lines around our selection. Go up to select, go down to modify, and click on contract. And we're going to keep this at 1, so press OK. Go up to select again, go down to modify, and we're going to smooth this out, so click on smooth. Keep it at 1, press OK. And from here, we're going to press Ctrl J to isolate it from the background. So hold down Ctrl and then press J on your keyboard, or Command J for those Mac users. Okay, so if I turn off crow 1, or this big crow layer, I can see that we did a pretty good job at taking off the background. So I'm going to go up to this layer, this new layer that was made from pressing Ctrl J. This is our bird. I'm going to rename this to Big Bird. Okay. And I'm going to place this to the left. So I'm going to hit V on my keyboard so I can move it freely. And I'm going to put mine kind of low, like down here. So it looks like it's flying under Itachi's head. So now I want to color match this to the background. And there's a few ways to do this, but I want to teach you guys the way I taught you guys in class, which was just make 2 layers above this big bird. I'll call this big bird selection. So let me rename this to selection so you guys don't get confused. So I'm gonna put 2 layers above big bird selection. So go down here right next to your trash can. You'll see this icon. So click twice on that. I'm gonna rename these from layer names to multiply. Multiply layer, and this one I'm gonna name overlay layer. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to clip these onto my bird. So hold down your Alt or Option key on your keyboard. So hold down that Alt key. Click on these layers, or you can right click on these layers and you'll see clipping mask down here. Click on that and then do the same to the top layer. Right click, click on clipping mask, and now we can use our brush to put some overlay layers and multiply layers on this bird. So I'm gonna go to my multiply layer. I don't think I spelled that right. Okay, go to your multiply layer on your bird. Go to your brush, set this brush to 0% hardness, so it's all the way up here, and set that to 0, so bring it all the way down here. And we're going to increase our size to make it like about the size of the bird. Mine is at 865, and I'm going to decrease the flow to 25%. And we're going to color pick the background. To color pick, you hold down the Alt key or the Option key on your Mac, and you'll see this plus sign. Just click on the background and you'll be able to brush on top or underneath your bird. So we're gonna, since we want the bottom to be darker, we're just brush underneath. I'm actually gonna color pick something darker, so something around here, and I'm just gonna brush underneath. And I'm using half my brush. Don't go over with your whole brush because you're just gonna get the whole bird. I just want half my brush, and I just want half my brush to be able to brush that in. Okay. I'm gonna set this from normal to multiply. So go to multiply, and now we have kind of like an orangey or yellowish dark shadow underneath him. We're gonna go to the overlay layer and we're gonna do the same, but we're gonna color pick from the sky this time. I'm gonna brush on top of his head using half my brush. It lags a little bit. That's just because it's a desktop, or not a desktop application. It's not a desktop application. It's just a website. So it's a web application. So it's trying to use all your RAM if you have any RAM. And I'm just gonna change this from normal. So change this overlay layer from normal to overlay. Go down to overlay. And now we have our bird that's color matched to our background. Okay. And obviously there's a lot more you guys can do to this. This is just for you guys to understand what's how to easily color match without having to worry about reflections or other stuff. So we're just gonna leave this like that, and we're gonna go to our big bird selection. Just go down to wherever these layers are clipped to, which is our big bird. And I'm just gonna draw some eyes on him. He has eyes, but I'm gonna put some I'm gonna make them glow red like Itachi's eyes. So I'm gonna make my brush small, until it's the size of his eye. And then I'm gonna color pick from Itachi's eyes. So hold down the Alt option, click on Itachi's eyes, and you can see that our color picker chose that kind of red. And I'm gonna change my blend mode to screen. So go from normal to screen. I've been using the screen blend mode this whole time. So I guess it doesn't matter too much. So I'm just gonna tap twice on his eyes and 3 times. That should be fine. And now what I want to do is I want to blur this selection or this bird because it's in the foreground. I want to create some kind of depth with this image. So I'm going to go up to filter, go down to blur, and go to Gaussian blur. I'm going to leave it at 7.2 and I'm going to press OK. Now I'm going to go to my Crow 2. This one is going to be a lot easier because we're only going to use one adjustment layer to color match him to the background. And we put this bird in the background because he doesn't have too much details. And this bird in the front, he has so much details. It just makes sense. It makes more sense because the camera captures more details the closer you are to the camera. And there's less details the further you are to your camera or even to the eye. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go to our quick select tool. We're going to change our brush to around the size of the body. Click once, rasterize, just press OK. Click on the body. It should have a perfect selection again because of the high contrast between the background and the foreground or the subject. I'm going to go to select, go down to modify. I'm going to click on contract, press OK, go to select again, go to modify, go to smooth, press OK. So now we have a contracted smooth selection. So from here I can just press Ctrl J. Now I have a new layer. So I can just turn off Crow 2 and go over here, click on I to turn off Crow 2. And I'm going to rename this to Small Birds Selection. Okay. And now I can resize this to however small I want it to be. I want it way back, way back there in the background. So I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform, hold down my Shift key, go to one of the corners, bring it all the way down, and kind of just place it in the background over there. I want to make it smaller actually. Or no, I'm just going to leave it like that. Press enter. And as you can see, this bird looks so out of place. It looks like there's a hole cut into the image because of how dark it is. We want to color match it to the background. We want it to be as blurred out as the background. So to do that, we're first gonna worry about color matching it. So go to your adjustment layer or to new adjustments. Click on this circle. Go up to hue and saturation. And we're going to clip this onto the small bird selection. So the bird only gets selected, or it's only affecting the small bird. We don't want it to affect the whole image. So if I press colorize, it affects the whole image. So I'm just going to right click on hue/saturation. Go down to clipping mask. click on that, and I'm going to click on colorize. Increase your lightness to something that'll match the background. I chose 40. Increase your saturation just a little bit. Increase your hue, or adjust your hue to something that looks like the background. Mine looks like that. And from here, I want to click on small bird selection, and I want to blur this out. So I'm going to go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. No, that's too blurry, so I think my background was around 5, so I'm just going to use 5. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm just going to use 5, press OK. And now our bird is color matched to the background. Okay. And now for the last steps of these for this assignment, I'm going to click on hue and saturation so I have a layer above everything, and I'm going to add a gradient to all this. I'm going to add 2 gradients. So one that goes from the bottom to top, and then one that kind of circles around everything. So go down here, go back to your new adjustments layer, icon, click on that, this little circle. Go all the way up here to where it says gradient fill. It should fill it up with a gradient, and this property should pop up. If it's not popped up, double click on this little box right here, it'll pop up, or go and click on properties while this is selected. That'll also make it pop up. Change this number to 90. And change the scale, so increase the scale, and so we don't want this like black part showing too much, so we increase the scale. As you can see, our black part is going away. Maybe I want a little bit, but not too much, so I did 133. And we're going to change this gradient to like an orange color. So you want to click on this bar right here. Click on that. You want to click on this lower left box. Click on this box right here. And we want to change this. We want to keep our color around this area. So we want a nice light pastel color, and we're going to change it to like an orangey color. You could even make it a little more saturated. Press OK. A lot of people use this as like a pink for their drawings because it just looks really good, but in reality it's an orange. We're gonna change this from normal to multiply, and that's our first gradient. And you guys can change this color to your liking. Maybe it's too dark, so I'm gonna change it back up over here. I'm gonna make it lighter. Press OK. Just OK. And just click out of that. Now that looks pretty good, but I want you guys to do this extra step, which is to add a vignette around it. And to do that, we're going to go down to color fill again, into the new adjustments layer. The circle, go up to gradient fill. That's what I meant. Go up to gradient fill. Change this style right here from linear to radial, and we want to invert this so we have the whites on the inside and the darks on the outside. So click here on reverse, and this will invert it. And you want to change the scale because you don't want all this black seeping through when you have these like harsh lines going around it. So you want to change the scale to around that size. I think mine is 197. Change the color. So right here, click on gradient, change the color. Again, click on this left box, click on this box, and you want to change the color to something you like. I think I'm gonna do like this purple. We could always change it, so just press OK and then go to the right and change this from normal to multiply, and that actually looks pretty good, but I don't want it too much, so I'm gonna go to the left a little bit and then press OK. Okay, and you can adjust the layers or the opacity of each gradient by just reducing the opacity up here. Just reduce that to however you like. Okay, and I'm gonna call this vignette. I'm gonna call this multiply gradient. Probably didn't spell vignette right, but you guys get the point. And that's how you do the end of this assignment. If you guys want to add more to this, that'll be extra credit. Or if you guys make it look even better than this, that'll also be extra credit. So have fun with it, guys. Don't stress out too much. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask me or come to office hours from 2 to 3. Alright.